All right, keep yourself on mute. All good. All right, everyone. Well, welcome to the Remax Business Builder Series. It is June 1st already. Wow, crazy. Here in the US, welcome to all of you back from the Memorial Day holiday, and a big thank you and sending hearts out and hugs to those that served our country in memoriam of them. So welcome back from that long holiday. I know it was race weekend in Indianapolis. There was all kinds of fun things going on, but we're glad to have you this morning. My name is Michelle Hoyt. I'm Manager of Education and Development for Remax INTEGRA US, and I am joined by my teammate who will be my co-host. Kevin, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin Vinzon. I'm the Brand Education Manager for Remax INTEGRA for Ontario Atlantic, Canada. And Michelle, thanks again for having me co-host today. And I'm excited for today's session. We have a great panel of amazing people. And I can't wait for you all to hear about what they have to say.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin. So today's topic is building a robust referral network. Our panelists, we have assembled a great panel. I'm actually very proud of ourselves for finding these four amazing individuals. We all met last week and they just immediately synced up, and they're really going to share so much with you. And they're very successful with not only client referrals, but getting referrals from the Remax network. And we all know how important that is. So they're going to share some of their secrets and tips with you, and even a couple of their ideas they're willing to share too, to help you generate more referrals and to really nurture those, because that's what this business is all about. So let's go ahead and meet our panelists. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Welcome. Come on in, join us. We're on Facebook Live and we're on Zoom right here. And then also we will be taking questions. We'll keep an eye on those as we go through this. So let's kick this off. So Kevin, why don't you kick us off with our first comment and question here?
Of course, yes. So we'll sort of go around the panel here. Tell us about yourself, your background, your history with Remax, your market, and really just anything else you want to share to the peers watching today. So I guess I'll go in order my screen here. Pam, how about you first?
Well, thank you, Kevin. It's great to be here. I am Pam Aguirre from Remax Legends Group in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we are the race capital of the world. So it was a phenomenal weekend here. I've been with Remax for 28 of my 32 years. And of the 28, I actually was a broker owner for Remax for about 11. Our market here is pretty stressed. I think agents are stressed and sellers are stressed. We need more inventory, and I do really believe it's coming. So we just keep working and it's going to be around. I'm pretty confident of that.
And Pam, anything you want to share about yourself, interesting, fun fact, anything like that?
Yeah, well, okay. If you want a fun fact, let's see. I spent 12 years taking baton twirling classes as a young child and did a lot of competition. So there you go. You won't find that anywhere on the internet.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Jess, how about you?
So Jessica Bothelo from Mississauga, Ontario. That's about 20 minutes west of Toronto. I have been with Remax since 2005. My father was a broker owner and made sure to get me into the business nice and young. Market here is, and has been for a while, quite crazy. I think like everybody, we're suffering with inventory shortage and the bidding war situation. So yeah, hoping for a little bit of balance soon. Like Pam, it's coming, right? The inventory is coming. So
right.
Yeah.
And Jess, how about a fun fact about you? Any baton classes as well?
Well, I used to dance competitively, and tap dancing was my forte. So kind of
Very
close.
nice,
Me and Pam could put on a good show together.
Yeah.
There you
go. Brad, how about you?
I'm Brad Colbert. Hey guys, I'm in St. John's, Newfoundland. For those of you who might not know where Newfoundland is, it's the most easterly point in North America. So we're like a little island out from, say, if you look up from New York or that area, that's a little island. And that's where I am. I've been with Remax for 15 years. I started with Remax and I've been here ever since. and loved real estate. My plan was never to be in real estate. I flipped a house between 2 degrees. I was headed off to U of T to do law school, and I said, I don't think I'm going to do it. And I fell in love with real estate, and the rest is history.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Brad. And a fun fact about you.
Fun fact about me. I was supposed to be a professional hockey player, but it never turned out. No, I was away for hockey for years. That was the goal. That was my love. Still my love. And, you know, my favorite team was the Montreal Canadiens, and they kind of won yesterday.
Too soon, Brad. Too soon.
Brad, we're on the same page here. My fiance and her family are Montreal fans as well. So we were all, we were all hoping for that yesterday.
I have no choice. My mom was born and raised in Montreal and came here for university and stayed. So I would be out of the will if I didn't cheer for Montreal.
And last but definitely not least, Robin, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Robin Gwaltney, and I'm from Rochester, Minnesota, which is in the southeast portion of Minnesota. We are the home of the Mayo Clinic, of the mothership of Mayo Clinic. There's actually a Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale and Jacksonville, but it all started here. I will tell you that this is my 8th year at Remax. And before coming to Remax, I spent 15 years at another brokerage. And when we were there, it was my husband and I, so just a team of 2. And since we've come here, just organically, we have grown a huge team. We now are a team of 30. And that's happened over the past 8 years, whether we planned on it or not, but it's been great. And we really enjoy it. Our market has an average price point of about $280,000. Our team sells approximately 400 houses a year, so we keep pretty busy. A little tougher this year with the lack of inventory like everybody else, but we just create our own. We go out and get the listings, and then we sell the listings. Then we go out and get more and sell more. So we've been keeping busy, and things have been going pretty well.
Thank you so much. And Robin, again, lastly, fun fact about you to share.
Well, a fun fact about me is that for 17 years, my husband and I were volunteer resident directors at a program called A Better Chance, where we raised inner city minority youth who were gifted and talented. So at any given time over that period of 17 years, we had our 2 children plus 6 more. So I was a mother to 8 for 20 consecutive years.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for sharing. I'm sure a lot of our peers learned more about you. And Michelle, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. And I'm excited. If there's a Remax Got Talent show ever, I would pay to see baton twirling and dancing and hockey playing and giving back. The 4 of you have an incredibly diverse and unique background, and I love every minute of it. So thank you so much. A big part of getting referrals from both clients and the Remax network is to never lose sight of your why. Why did you get in real estate? Let's find out from our panel what their why is. So we're going to start with you on this one, Pam. And by the way, Drew says hello. He's in the chat, waving you on, your whole office. Hey, Drew. So Pam, let's start with you on this one. Why did you choose real estate as a career path? And then even more importantly, why Remax?
Well, thanks, Michelle. I am a frustrated artist, and so I have quite an eye for color and design. I love architecture. And in 1990, I decided that I was going to just go around to every open house there was for every Sunday that I could fit it all in. And then I decided I would get my real estate license. What was interesting about that is that I knew the inventory in the market, and I had met many of the agents in the market, and it just seemed like this is something you really enjoy. Why don't you get into this business and make a living with it? So I did, and I never looked back. I've loved my career. I wish I had another 20 years in this business, but I know that the day will come when I won't have that. So I enjoy my clients tremendously, and we just have great rapport. So hopefully that answers your question.
Why Remax?
Pretty independent person. I actually owned an independent brokerage company before I joined Remax. And I was given a challenge by an agent who was very successful at Remax. And he said, you will never come to Remax. He said, you will be scared to death. And I just took that as a challenge and just jumped in and did it.
Wow, I absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Pam. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Jessica, sure. Jessica, what is your why? Why did you choose real estate and why Remax?
So I was brought up in this brand. And so I don't think initially there was never really a choice for me. My dad was like, this is it. This is the best baby. That's what we're sticking with. I got into it, I think, because initially I worked admin. And that's a really tough role to be in. And I was like, I don't want to do this. It just looks so stressful. When he decided to sell his brokerage, I kind of thought, I'm licensed, I might as well give it a shot. And it came very naturally to me. So it was something I never intended into going into, but the minute that I did, I felt right at home. That being said, I did take a little bit of a break away from Remax, learn my lesson very quickly. And what I've come to find is that culturally, there's nothing like Remax and the family that's within it, as well as what we offer to the public.
Wow, thank you so much for that. And it's evident because we have people from all over Canada and attendees from all over the US, all one big Remax family. So thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, Brad, tell us what your why is. Why you did share a little bit of that. If you could expand a little bit more on that.
Sure.
Then why Remax?
Yeah, so like I said, I actually purchased a house as an investment first. Loved the whole process of buying my first home, and then I end up buying a second investment property. Loved that again. I ended up flipping a house. So I said, I really enjoy real estate. And the plan was to go on, like I said, to law school after my first degree. But I love real estate. So I just, that was a real why. I wanted to help everybody else, enjoy it as like I did when I buy my first house. Something else that actually came about was during that, I read a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And it really opened up my idea of how, you could build wealth through real estate. And it was a real game changer. And now I actually help people not just with, buying and selling homes, but investment properties, flip properties. I deal new construction. So it's, I help people in every avenue, and I love helping them, achieve their dreams. Why Remax? Brand recognition. You go into somebody's house and you tell them you're with Remax. It's not even what's Remax or, what's, and I hear people who have left Remax and have come back, and even in my own office, say they've been on listing appointments and they've told the name of a brokerage or an independent company they were with, and it didn't get received like Remax. You say Remax, it's like, oh, okay. Like it's not even a question. So it was truly the brand. I started with Remax and I've never left.
Thank you so much. And your passion just shines through. So I love that. Thank you. Robin, what is your why for real estate and your why for Remax?
So to be honest with you, I never had any intention of selling real estate or selling anything for that matter. I actually had been asked to speak at the annual Rotary luncheon here in Rochester about the nonprofit that we were running. And afterward, I had a gentleman approach me and say, I need you to come and work for me. And I said, were you listening to a word I said? I have 8 kids at home. I work full-time in physical therapy at Mayo Clinic. When would I work for you? And he said, I want you to quit Mayo Clinic and come and work for me. I said, no, I'm never going to quit Mayo Clinic. And what would I do for you? And he said, sell houses. And I literally laughed. And I said, oh my God, absolutely not. I cannot stand salespeople and I will never be one. And he said, and that's exactly why I'm interested in you, because I don't hire salespeople, I hire service providers. And he said, you are definitely a caregiver, you are definitely a service provider, and that's what I look for. And I said, oh, that's very flattering, thank you, but I'm not interested. And he just kept pursuing me, and he kept sending letters, and he kept sending letters. And finally, my husband found himself in between jobs. And that day I got a letter. I said, why don't you go sell real estate? And he did. And 2 years later, I joined him, and that was a Coldwell Banker franchise. And I thought I would stay there forever and ever. And when John Colopy, my broker owner, came into the Rochester market, he immediately started to recruit all of the best agents, the most successful agents, and he wanted everybody on his team. And if you know John, you know that he gets what he wants. And so here I am. And again, I've never looked back, because Remax is awesome. Yeah, I love this brand. It's been great.
Oh, thank you so much, and congrats on all your success and growing your team. Well, a big part, again, of getting referrals is to really be invested in your why and to be all about the brand. And as you can tell with these four, they love the brand, they embrace it, it comes through, and it comes naturally for them, and their clients and the other Remax agents definitely pick up on that, and it pays off. So thank you so much. Kevin, back to you.
Thank you, Michelle. So something that is discussed quite often when it comes to referrals is your sphere of influence. So when you first got into real estate, how did you let your sphere of influence know about it? Did you ask for referrals right away, or did it take some time to get comfortable and confident with? And if you can give us sort of an estimate on what the percentage is today of your business that's referrals versus new leads. So I'll switch it around this one. Jess, I'll have you start us today.
Sorry, what was that first question?
So how did you let your sphere of influence know about it? Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, social media has always
Mhm.
been my gateway into my sphere of influence. From the minute I started working with my father, my screen names on anything as far back, I don't know if you remember Meet Me in TO, Kevin.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So even back then I was just Remax. So it's all been mostly through social media for me.
Nice.
When I do a calculation of repeat and referral versus new leads, I am 95.5, which is really, really high. I do very little business where we have zero connection. There's usually at least a mutual friend that brings us together.
Nice. And did you just sort of, I know you're very, very active on social media. Was it something that, you just let your social media presence speak for itself? And that's how your sphere of influence and others got to know you? Or did you actually reach out and do that yourself as well?
I think it's all through like know and like posts, by expressing who you are, what your lifestyle choices are, and things like that. There was no intentional reach out to people, to say, hey, I'm in the business or anything like that. It was more organic, I guess you could say.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really nice, real nice. Thank you, Jess. Robin, I'll have you go next.
Well, there definitely wasn't any social media when I got into the business. So
I'm with you, Robin.
Full page color ads in the weekly newspaper, right? I mean, those were different times. But I actually, because I had worked at Mayo Clinic for 20 years, previous to getting into real estate, I had a lot of connections at Mayo Clinic. And with Mayo Clinic being the #1 employer here in Rochester and the surrounding area, I'd most definitely reached out. I would go in every single week. I would go in with a big box of donuts and stop into a different department and bring my business cards and say, oh my God, I'm loving real estate, you guys, if you know anybody. And it was a way to keep in touch with the people that I had worked with for so many years. And at the same time, just asking for the business. And also I was involved with that nonprofit. And most of the board members were people who did hiring at Mayo Clinic. So that was a nice connection to have as well. So
Nice.
my first listing was 1 week into the business, and it was a $500,000 listing, which back then would be like equivalent to over $1 million listing in our market today. So I was really lucky to have those connections for sure.
Nice. Thank you, Robin. And if you can give us an estimate percentage of your business today of referrals versus new leads.
All of my business is referrals. I mean, I don't
Amazing.
work any new leads. Everything either comes to me from a past client, or it's a past client's children, or a past client's mother, or somebody who knows me. If somebody just calls in cold because we are the Gwaltney group, I give that person to somebody else on the team. But everybody that I work with is either referred directly to me, or, you know, has been a past client or line from that.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Brad, how about you?
What's it again? Sorry.
So in terms of letting your sphere of influence
Yeah,
know.
sorry.
That's okay. No
Almost
problem.
here buzzing in the background. I apologize. So when I first got into real estate, say 15 years ago, the newspaper was still a pretty big thing. So of course we have this section, I'm sure we all have it. It's called like a home buyer's guide or a buyer section in a newspaper. And I took out ads in that, of course, and letting people know I was there. But also, you know, I would call my friends, text my friends, let them know I'm in real estate. And, you know, I'm a pretty social person. So I went to different restaurants. As I went to restaurants, I would go, you know, out to a party or a gathering. You know, I let everyone know I was in real estate. But, you know, a question that you had was, is it difficult, you know, to let people know at first? Yeah, you're kind of shy because you're new, you know, you're not as confident as the guy who's been doing it forever. So, you know, you're asking for the business, but you don't want to be pushy because, you know, sometimes salespeople have that reputation of being pushy. So you're trying to find the right way to approach it. And it was certainly, you know, it was certainly difficult a little bit at first, even though I'm not a shy person, but you kind of felt like you didn't want to be too pushy with people. And that's something I found when I was trying to get into real estate. Now, totally comfortable with it. People know, you know, where I am, and it works out. As far as the percentage, yeah, it's, you know, 95.5 and, you know, 98.2 repeat and referral. Almost all my business is coming from repeat and referral, whether it's a friend who sold a house or whatever the case may be. But yeah, repeat referral is huge. It wasn't, of course, in the beginning because you're chasing everything. But as you get more established, it really becomes, and those people, they're the best because someone's recommended you. You know, someone's already told you that this guy is the guy to use. That they don't question you on commission. They don't challenge you on these things. They're comfortable with you and they want to use you and they're happy to pay for the service.
Very nice. Thank you, Brad. Thank you so much for sharing. And lastly, Pam, how did you let your sphere of influence know, and sort of an estimate percentage?
I think that I was heavily involved in my community. I had 2 small children before I got into real estate, and I was involved in my church with the youth group there. I was involved in PTA and PTO, and just all kinds of welcome wagon was another. I mean, those are old school things, but I was heavily involved within my community, and I did not realize what a gift that was when I got into real estate, because I knew so many people just through those organizations. And just like Robin said, there was no social media when we got into real estate. And I do think social media is really important, but I did a lot of mailings, announcement cards to my sphere of influence, and I was kind of surprised at the number of people who responded so favorably to my being involved in the industry. And the day I got a phone call from an attorney that I highly respected in my church family, who I hardly ever spoke to, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was shaking in my shoes because why did they call me? And I was new, but you know, it all worked out, and referrals are probably about 95% of my business. Started out growing a business that I wanted it to be referral based. I didn't want it to be transactional. So I learned pretty early on that if you just take care of what's on your plate right now, do your very best, that the rest will all follow. And truly, that's exactly what I did. So that was really good. I did lots of newspaper ads. Even when I didn't have things to advertise when I was new, I still did newspaper ads. Every week I was in the local newspaper. So that's kind of how I got started.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pam. And thank you for all the panelists for sharing your experiences. Thank you so much. And I hand it over to you, Michelle.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, so let's break this down. As we talked early on, we're talking about two different buckets of referrals. We've got client referrals, and then you've got the Remax network, which I can't wait to talk about as well. But let's start with client referrals. What are some of the specific things that you're doing, whether it's social media, what kind of messaging? Feel free to share your screens, or I'm happy to share the screen for you. But that's what we're going to talk through, some of the very specific examples. I know your peers get excited about this part of it. We're going to start with you, Robin, on this one. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you're doing specifically from a messaging and marketing efforts now that you don't have to advertise in the newspaper?
Absolutely. Well, I like to stay very engaged in the community. So I like to do events, whether it's bring the shred truck and have everybody bring out their shredding, or host an Easter egg hunt, or just whatever I can do, rent out the movie theater, bring everybody in for a movie and bring the princesses in and do photos, and whatever I can do to reach out to the masses, because I have so many past clients. It's not like I have just a few. But on a much more personal note, are you guys familiar with Nothing Bundt Cake, that brand? Do you guys have that? So we have a Nothing Bundt Cake that opened up a couple of years ago, probably 3 years ago now in Rochester. And I went in to meet her, and I told her that I would like to have a standing order for 5 bundt cakes every Friday. And I pick them up at noon, and then I just randomly pick 5 clients, and I stop by and I just do a pop by and I sit and visit. And sometimes I'm there 10 minutes, sometimes I'm there an hour and a half. Sometimes it's a client that I sold a house to last year. Sometimes it's a client that I sold a house to 20 years ago. But I just really like to stay in touch with people. So I make an effort to spend time doing just that.
That's incredible. I'm sure everyone's taking notes right now that's watching. And out of curiosity, how much is each cake?
I think it's $20. So it's $100 a week.
Okay, yeah, that's a franchise. I think that's just starting up.
It is.
I've seen them popping up in my area too. So Robin, thank you. That's a great idea. Okay, Brad, how about you? What specific things, messaging or efforts are paying off for you with getting client referrals?
Yeah, so I do something similar. I do a few things throughout the year, pop by to say, hey to clients. I've got a couple examples here actually that I had. So for example, just recently we had Easter. So it's, it's not easy to tell, but so, we have an Easter bag, as you can see, a little bag, and you put the chocolates in and a little card attached to it. And for example, this one was kind of cute. I made up this year. It says, for an extra special client, remember, no bunny knows real estate like I do. Happy Easter, Brad Colbert. So I brought that myself, delivered it myself, and I think that was a big thing. So, I take a list of everyone, all my clients, I have children and just some other clients, and I pop by and delivered those, during the Easter, right before the Easter weekend. So that's one example of, some of the fun pop by things I do. Another example is, during Halloween, I do up Halloween bags for all my clients, and a few little fun trinkets. So and their kids. So I bring these by to all my clients, and I sometimes I'm there for a minute, sometimes I'm there for a while. But I personally deliver these myself as well. They just don't go out randomly. It's a chance for me to talk to them and let them know that I'm taking the time for them. And of course, what's great about all this stuff is they take pictures, they share it on their social media, it goes on Instagram story. So it's, it's a great way to say this, hey, my realtor didn't do that, So a couple of fun things like that. Of course, Christmas time, everybody gets Christmas cards, and anniversaries of the first year anniversary for their house. I send them out a little thank you as well. Some little things to just to touch them and let them know that I'm still here and remind them.
That's fantastic. And there's a suggestion in the comments. You should have an Easter bunny costume to deliver those.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe have one. Well, and obviously we're talking about all this in a normal environment. Hopefully we're all coming out of the woods. I know that vaccines are in abundance in some areas, but not in others. So, these are all fantastic ideas. Obviously, you could always leave things on people's porches too, right? But yeah, so thank you, Brad. That was great. Okay, Pam, talk to us about what you are doing specifically to get more client referrals and to stay in touch with them.
Well, COVID was difficult because most of my clients will become friends. And I was very used to just randomly calling clients and saying, hey, let's go grab lunch or let's go to dinner. And so that kind of took a little bit of a hit. I did a lot of pop buys during that time. I'm big. Valentine's Day is one of my favorites, and it's so easy to market around that. This year I did some little heart-shaped skillets with cookie dough in the kit, and those went over so well. They were a little expensive, but you know, you deliver those to your most important clients and those people who give you the most referrals, and you do a few other things for other people that will fit into the budget for masses a little bit better. So pop buys became very big. I do a lot of social things. I'm still doing a lot of direct mail to my clients, not necessarily letters, but actually a lot of postcards and things like that so that they know. And I do just sold, just listed to all my past clients. I want them to know I'm still working.
Wow, that statement right there says it all. I mean, because I'm sure you all have stories to share where you run into a past client, you found out they sold with someone else, they bought with someone else. They didn't know you were still in the business, but the four of you really understand that and establish that. So Jessica, we'll have you answer next, but I see a couple of questions that I want to address as well. So Jessica, talk to us about what you're doing to get even more client referrals.
Yeah, so like Brad, I do a lot of the Buffini style pop buys. I am a little bit edgy and my clients know that. So I do try to make them a little bit more edgy. We had mentioned when we all got together. So one of my best pop buys was actually around tequila. And it said, there's two things that should always go down smoothly: tequila and real estate closings. And you can count on your homegirl Jess for both. So that was a great one. People really love them. We've also done it where we combine pop by with a giveaway. So as a team last year, we did a chalk the walk contest. We dropped off sidewalk chalk to everybody and encouraged them to do up their sidewalk and post their pictures online for prizes and things like that. I see Margie's question here about condo dwellers, and I absolutely deal with that. Margie, I leave it with concierge. I constantly take a picture, like I'll take a picture of it or take a picture of the concierge holding it even sometimes and send it off to my client so that they know that it's there. They can expect it when they get home. And that of course prompts even more of a conversation. Every client, so especially now around COVID, I can't be staying with them or having a conversation. So it's a drop by and either a little dance in their Ring camera or, at the doorbell camera, or they get a picture and a little text message, and it sparks some really great conversations. Community events, I love. They're harder now, but probably some of the best that we did were Children's Miracle Network during the month of miracles in August. We would do a garage sale and community barbecue for that. And that was always great for my clients to come out. They would show support. They would make donations. Even in terms of me, I would reach out to them for pickups. What do you have that I can put for sale for Children's Miracle Network? And I would go and pick up their used items and sell them on my parents' driveway. Now that I'm in a condo, it's a little bit harder to do that kind of stuff, but community events are always great too.
Oh, those are fantastic. Thanks for addressing that question. I saw the one about condos. Personally, I live in a high rise. So, I mean, yeah, the doorman is like the gatekeeper that in our building. So, or door person, whoever's sitting up there. But I think that's a great idea to, maybe even remember they have real estate needs too. So give the doorman or the concierge one of your gifts as well and thank them for their time. Have any of you done any type of direct, or Jessica, have you done direct mail to condos that has worked, and what kind of messaging do you use?
Not really. If it's to my clients, it's very like any direct mail I do used to be for like the home show tickets, things like that. I would reach out, but other than that, no, like just sold. Just everything for me is strictly referral based or personal mail, right? Not like a ad mail or something like that.
Right. No, I love it. Thank you. Yeah, because I mean, even in my building, there's always a bunch of deliveries and things sitting out at the front desk. Everyone sees it. You know, and especially if it has your Remax branding on it, that would go over well. So that's a great question.
I do it. I have a couple of farm areas, and you know, I send out just sold, just listed, and in those farm areas I send out, you know, like a monthly newsletter to 2 different farm areas that I farm. And you know, it's with everything online now, I find I'm getting a good response from that. Another thing I do is I don't just mail out the just solds. I have a guy delivers them for me. I work closely with the Autism Society, and there's a couple of guys that are great, and we do them like do not disturb, like door hangers. So they go right on their doors, just sold right on their doors, and on the back, complimentary market evaluation, that kind of thing. So that goes right on their door. So they have to take it off their door and throw it in the garbage. So I find that works better than just the straight mail out. Obviously, it doesn't work for a condo, but great for neighborhoods.
Okay, great. Anyone else on the panel want to answer either of those questions, condos or postcards?
I'm seeing the one here about Children's Miracle Network. You can reach out to your local representative and they are extremely helpful. Anything from, covers for the tables, balloons. They gave me tattoos to give kids, phone cases to give out. Whatever they have promo material with Remax, they will give you.
Thank you so much. All right, that was a good one. Thanks for all the questions, everyone. Keep them coming. Kevin, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. So for the next question, I know we touched on it a little bit. I know Robin was saying, getting referrals from past workplaces as well. But our next question, besides your past clients, what other channels do you get referrals from? Other small business owners, networking groups, lenders, or preferred vendors? And how do you nurture those kind of relationships? So for this one, I will have Brad start.
Sure. Okay. I have a couple of mortgage brokers, we call them here, and I work with those guys closely. They're great for referrals. You send them a fair bit of business, they usually reciprocate. You don't get a ton. Some realtors expect you send them one and they're going to send you one back. It doesn't really work with like that. You send them a ton and you get some back. That's one way that we would get them. The lawyer I work with here is pretty good. I send him a ton of business, and his firm is pretty good. And, they keep me in mind. There's foreclosures, things like that. I get put on a list. So there are other options. Foreclosures are great because essentially you kind of got it until it's sold. When the markets were slow, you knew you had a sale. You just had to work with the lender to sell it. And of course, there are other small businesses I work with and support. I really believe in I support them, you support me, that kind of thing. So everyone who supports me in real estate, I go to their restaurants, their coffee shops, I buy locally at their store, that building a network within your community, especially local things, has been great for me.
Amazing. Thank you, Brad. And great examples, especially with, staying local as well. So thank you so much. Jess, how about you?
One of my greatest referral sources, believe it or not, is from corporate relocations. I was very fortunate to be hooked up with the recruiter at Canada Goose a few years ago here in Toronto. And they are constantly moving people in from all over the US and across Canada. I'll be honest, they do come in as a rental for the first year because that's their contract, but these people have outstanding jobs and contracts, and they always turn into a sale going forward, assuming that they stay here at Canada Goose, of course. So corporate referrals in the relocation department is 100% something I would suggest. If you have an in to somebody who runs a big business like that, get into that. That's a great one.
Amazing. And Jess, if you could, just for our peers today, an example like that, and you're saying, they start off as rentals, but end up, in the future being a sale. How do you nurture that relationship, and how do you stay connected to them?
Through the pop buys, through the check-ins, making sure that they're happy where they're living, happy in their new community. They're coming here and they have zero clue about community schools, things like that. So, I'm a major resource to them. I think that really helps us build a solid foundation. From there, it's on me to drop off tequila once a year, something like that.
Amazing. Thank you. Pam, how about you? How about yourself?
I do drop some things by to the hospitals that are local here. I have clients that are in those hospitals, and I leave it at the front desk area and text them and let them know that there's something for them and to be looking for it to come back to them. And I always tag some business cards on things like that. It could be donuts, it could be a cookie tray, it could be anything to help them make their day a little bit better.
Mhm.
I work with a lot of lenders, trying to give good business to the lenders, and I get some referrals back. I do think that those are not, they're not as prolific as we might think they would be, but it's a good source. Mostly my business comes from referrals from past clients.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Pam, for sharing. And lastly, Robin, how about yourself?
Yeah, like Pam, most of my referral business comes from past clients, but also I have a lot of friends who, like, I have one really good girlfriend who's a partner in a law firm. And so she has spread my name to, some of the other attorneys. And I have 3 past clients who are financial advisors. So they get people who come to them and say, it's time to sell my house or buy a lake house or whatever, and they'll send business my way. I definitely have some lenders that send business my way. So I guess, over time, I've established a lot of really good relationships. This business is clearly about relationships to me. And when you have strong relationships, you get referrals, whether you were expecting them or looking for them or not. So it's awesome.
Amazing. Thank you, Robin. And I love that. It's about building and cultivating those relationships. And that in itself will bring the business. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And Michelle, I hand it over back to you.
Sure, absolutely. I just want to make one quick comment, Jessica. I want to applaud you because a lot of your peers, they actually have said to me personally over the years, I do not do rentals. I don't want to have anything to do with rentals ever. And I implore all of you to really think about the fact that those renters will become buyers. Absolutely. And better that they become your buyer than someone else's. So think about that as a potential revenue stream. No, it's not going to be a short-term payoff now, but when they're ready, they will. But keep in mind too, they also know people that can buy. So good job, Jessica. Kudos to you on going after those rentals and being patient and nurturing that relationship. So that's great. Okay, great. Okay, so we talked about past clients a little bit, but let's talk about, we like to share success stories, but let's talk about maybe some misses that you've all encountered. Can you share with us a story about where you did find out a past client bought with someone else or sold with someone else, or someone that you knew really well referred somebody instead of you? Let's talk a little bit about how that made you feel and maybe what you learned from it. So we'll start with you on this one, Robin. Has something like that occurred to you? And talk us through that.
Yes, I can tell you a very specific story. So I had a very nice listing. It was like $1.5 million. And it was one of those listings where I had to be present for all showings. So another agent made a showing appointment and she showed up with one of my past clients. And I was like, oh, I just felt terrible. And so what was so sad is I'm like, oh my gosh, how are you guys? And they're like, good. And then I said, I'm just not I'm a pretty straightforward person. And I'm like, I apologize. I know I completely dropped the ball. I mean, it was on me. I sold them a house and it was, their starter house, couple $100,000 several years ago. And I got really busy really fast early in my career. And I just didn't know enough to go back and try to nurture those relationships. And I've learned. And I just said, my bad, but they ended up buying the house. So I ended up making money off them in a roundabout way, but it was really embarrassing. I felt like a loser. It's like, oh my God, how could I have let that happen?
Wow. Well, thank you for being candid about that, but it's always good to admit you've learned a lot from that. So sorry that happened. I bet it won't ever happen again though, right?
Not if I can help it. They kept making excuses. Well, my wife and she play tennis together. I'm like, no, it's on me. It's all good.
No, thank you. Sounds like you handled it like the pro that you are. So that's great. Brad, how about you? Do you have any stories similar to that?
First of all, I'd like to say I love the way Robin thought of that, because I think we all think of it, or not all of us, but sometimes we get angry, you know, like, oh, I can't believe they use somebody else. But a lot of times it's on us, you know, we forgot, you know, like it's, you know, usually, you know, you get upset, oh, I can't believe they used that agent, or why didn't they call me? Well, we forgot, you know, we dropped the ball somehow. So, you know, that's actually a much better way to look at it than some of us look at things sometimes. But I guess, you know, Robin's got experience, and she knows what it's like. That being said, it's happened to me. Almost, well, not exactly the same, but a similar situation. I sold a house to somebody, their starter home, their very first house. I think it was like $170,000. And I got busy. It was the beginning of my career. I went from the executive club member to platinum and then to chairman, all within 3 years. So, you know, I got really busy quick, and I didn't nurture relationships like I did. I was working in my business instead of working on my business. I think we're all guilty of that sometimes, you know, chasing around. And I dropped the ball, and these people, I saw the offer come in, and I saw the name, and I'm like, I can't believe these people that I must have showed them 20 houses. And first I felt angry, you know, of course, like you do. But then I said, you know, I didn't follow up. I hadn't sent them a Christmas card. I didn't make a phone call. You know, I don't even have them on social media. So, you know, it was really on me. But I think we all have that, you know, sometimes we have to look at ourselves as to why the client moved on. And even if we did follow up, we got to remember that people come into the business. They're friends. They have, you know, there's lots of reasons why somebody goes with somebody else. And other reasons why, you know, you lose business. You know, if a friend of yours buys from somebody else or a family member, don't forget, they don't want you to know a lot of their personal business. You know, we take it personally. Maybe their parents are co-signing, you know, and you think they don't want to let you know that they can't afford to buy this place on their own. There's a lot of personal reasons why they don't want to share. And in the beginning of my career, I did get really upset when I didn't get the listings, or friends of mine bought from somebody else. But now, you know, 15 years later, there are a lot of reasons why, you know, people don't buy. There's a lot of personal reasons. It's got nothing to do with you. So, you know, hope that answers your question.
It does, and then some. Thank you so much. All right, Pam, tell us about a story where you found out that somebody that you worked with in the past went with someone else.
Part of my business plan is that every year I try to pick up at least a half a dozen expired listings. So it's part of my business plan. And once I get those 6 expired listings, then I don't chase any more expireds for the year. So when you're working with expired listings, as everybody knows, it's not easy. And many of them are being inundated with all kinds of mailings from everyone. Most recently this year, I was tracking an expired listing, and I actually got an appointment and got my foot in the door. That went pretty well. And then she called me and she said, I'd really like to have you back out. And I said, okay, that's great. So we set a second appointment. I went in, and, you know, she told me during that interview that I was the only agent that she was interviewing a second time. So it made me feel pretty confident. I'm like, okay, this is going very well. Well, she ultimately listed with another agent. And I sent her an email when the listing popped up, and I told her right off the bat, this is not solicitation of the listing, but I have to know, was there something that I couldn't do for you, or that you felt I wasn't going to handle well for you? The only way I can get better is by knowing those things. And she said, no, we listed with a friend. So I don't even know that she interviewed that person. That person probably had the listing from the get-go, but she was interviewing other agents. So that made me feel a little bad, because I had spent a lot of time trying to cultivate that referral and that piece of business.
Well, thank you for that. That's a very common story that you hear will happen from time to time. But I think Brad said it best, and someone else just said, Dawn, in the comments, about everyone has their reasons. And in this case, yeah, it probably made you feel like they were kind of shopping and using you just to make sure to justify their own decision. And that's unfortunate, but again, you handled it like a professional. So that's great. Jessica, how about you?
There you go. Sorry. I mean, like everybody else, I've been stung a couple times, and I kind of have a rule: let it hurt for one day and then let it go. You find out through social media, you see them posting their, we sold our house and that kind of thing post. And I firmly believe that it is on us to stay in touch with them. But of course, what people say and do has a lot more to do with them than it does us. So you got to try to not take it personal. And just do your best. Do your best to be a source of information for people, be there for them when they ask you to, and keep in touch, especially with the past clients and stuff. But yeah, it's happened. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's a reality of the business.
Feels like we just went through a little support session. So,
All right,
So
we're done with that.
that was great. No, so Dawn has a similar story. Hi, Dawn. She said it happened to all of us. Her neighbor just sold their home, used another agent. Maybe your neighbors don't want you in their business. You just don't know what's going to happen. So thank you all for being so open about that. Kevin.
Thank you, Michelle. So for the next question, let's talk about the Remax referral network. If you have a percentage of your business in the last 12 months, or even just a number of transactions that you got from other Remax agents, and how did they find you or decide to reach out to you? So for this one, I'll have Jess start.
Yeah, so I've been very lucky. I'm sure there's a number of people on the call who know my mentor in this field, Paul Hannon. Always been known as the agent referral guy. He's got his group going. He's the pre and post mixer king. And so in working with him, and also through various methods, I'm on the Remax YPN and things like that. We've been able to, position ourselves as local experts here for any relocations and things like that. In terms of percentage, I'd say anywhere total business, anywhere from about 20 to 25% of our business would come from other agents. Surprisingly, this year, I'm actually, because everybody's moving out of the city, I've sent already this year 30% of my business to other agents, most of them in the YPN. And so, my clients get a good experience when they're going elsewhere with a local professional. And of course, when it's reciprocal and we're working with people here, they get the best local knowledge that they can get.
Amazing. And Jessica, for those who don't know that's in the panel or our peers, what is the YPN?
So it's the Young Professionals Network for agents under 40, sorry to be exclusive, but agents under 40, we've got a group going. There's a lot of mind share. It's building a referral network, mastermind and that kind of stuff. So it's a valuable tool. If anybody is on this call who is under 40 and not part of that group yet, either send me a direct message or simply look for it on Facebook or get in touch with Kevin. He'll definitely get you hooked up there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jess.
Yeah.
And Pam, how about yourself? Remax Referral Network, any transactions or business within the last 12 months from other Remax agents? Tell us about it.
I think last year there were a total of 5 transactions that came from Remax referrals. And there are a couple groups on Facebook that I'm a part of that help tremendously to get you out there a little bit. So I love those groups. I really want to join the YPM really bad. I do, because you guys have all the great ideas and the technology. And I think I just want to join that group so bad. See what you can do. I also am a big proponent, Michelle. I don't know if this is the appropriate time for talking about the R4 and things like that. Okay. I am a big proponent of R4. I have not missed 4 in my tenure with Remax. So this year I went and it was a different R4, but it was a great R4. It was a little bit smaller and a little bit more intimate. And I kept thinking, I always go with some giveaway, some trading card, something. And I felt like this year we all needed a boost for leadership and being a leader and understanding that. And as it turned out, much of the speeches and things that were given at R4 were all about leadership. So it was like a perfect place. So the little card that Michelle flashed up on the screen, that card, that was my trading card, as I call it. It's slightly larger than a business card. And I would present it to people and always with my side up first, and I'd see that they'd take it in their hand. And then I'd say, this side of the card is about me. It's nice to meet you. Flip it over. The other side of the card is about you. And it worked really well, and it was very well received. So I really enjoyed that because I felt like I was boosting other people up, and it just made me feel good. So then when I came home, I ended up with about this many cards. I don't know. I think there's 135 cards in here from other people who traded with. And I created a mailing list. And actually, I take that back. Staff helped me create a mailing list. But I sent personal notes back to everyone, and I included a second card so they could make that association with who I was and just connect the dots a little bit. So the note that went out, see, Michelle, it would be probably that was the note that went out, and I put that actually on inside a regular note card for Remax. So that's what went out. And I also included one of my own business cards in there along with the leader card. So that went over pretty well. I got some notes back from people. It was interesting to me. I didn't get back as many responses or cards from other people that I'd met. So I thought, good, I'm doing something most are not. So that was good. And then most recently, I sent out the postcard, which is the final. There we go. And I wanted people to understand how I would treat their referrals. I wanted agents to understand that. So that was kind of my mantra to them. And then on the back side of the card where the address label goes, if you scroll down, I put the referral fee there. So the address label pops in there and the referral fee goes in there. So I just feel like you have to cultivate any Remax referrals that you want. At convention, I'm out there just talking to lots of people and networking, and I find it really, really important. And I would encourage anyone who hasn't been to not look at the amount of money that you're spending to go, but just go and just do it because you will win.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Pam, for sharing that. And I love those examples that you're able to show us and to everyone here. Those are great. I love the mantra. I love sort of your sort of like your code of conduct, or your speech to them, which is great. So I love that. Brad, how about yourself?
Yeah, so I haven't been lucky to go as many conventions. I've gone to a few, R4 once. I've gone to a couple in Toronto, but being in Newfoundland, we're a little bit travel restricted. Of course, COVID is impossible. We can't leave at all. But Halifax, Nova Scotia is where the Atlantic Canadian Conference is. Of course, I'll go there every year. So we have our convention, the award show, et cetera, is usually in Halifax, and all Atlantic Canada will go there for that. And I've made, I've made some great relationships and referrals with those. And I've done, this year I've done two in, 3 out, so 5 in total referrals with people in the Remax network, Toronto, Calgary, Ottawa, and Halifax.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And lastly, Robin, how about you?
Well, I have exact numbers because I have a very amazing marketing guy, so he just pulled up my stats. So I was actually pleasantly surprised when I saw that in the past 12 months, I've done 104 transactions, and 22 of those have been Remax referrals, so 21%.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Wow.
good number.
Nice. And sort of how did they decide to reach out to you, or how did they find you?
Sure. And well, if there is any meeting or trip that I can go on because it's work, whether it's, Remax, INTEGRA, National, R4, Luxury, and I go to everyone. I miss none of them. And I go to the National Association of Realtors stuff. I'm a member of the Good Neighbors Association because I was a Good Neighbors Award winner. So I go to those events. So I do a ton of networking because I've made some really close friends through real estate, and that's the only time I get to see them. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I never feel as bad being gone if it's for a work meeting. It's like when I tell you're traveling again, you're gone again, but I do go to everything that I can gain from and learn from. So I really do enjoy that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Robin, for sharing. And again, everyone, thank you so much for sharing your experiences for our peers and friends here today. Michelle, off to you.
Sure. Thanks, everyone. We're going to take last call for questions, and we're going to start wrapping this up. We're at the top of the hour, so we'll finish up in just a few minutes. So thanks for hanging with us. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about those that are brand new to the business. You've got a panel here of seasoned professionals that have experience. They are really good at what they do and building a robust referral network. So let's talk about those that are brand new to the business. To our panel, what advice would you give a brand new agent on how to get started with their own referral network right out of the gate? So we'll start with you on this one, Pam.
Just do it. Don't second guess your gut feeling. If you feel like you should talk to someone about real estate, bring it up. And if it's a bad time, they're going to let you know. I think you have to rely initially on your sphere of influence and what those people can do for you. And it's not always about gaining their business. Don't forget to ask for referrals from them. Maybe you're not ready to sell right now, but who do you know that might be willing to sell at this particular point? So I think those things are really important. Track your business, know where it comes from, establish your database, and just don't look back.
Thank you so much. Great advice. Jessica, to brand new agents, what should they do first? You're on mute.
Sorry, second time. Put yourself online. Make it very intentional. I say always focus on, there's 5 types of content. You want to have your educational, your know and your like, your, oh my God, now I'm going to forget them. Shareable. Anyways, there's 5 of them. People can reach out to me. You want to make sure you're having content that's getting you engagement, and also that is shareable. So people are going to now share your name and put it out there. Another thing that I would say is get involved with these events if they are available. I kind of made a joke with you guys that me and my business partner Talene, we consider ourselves the Owen Wilson and the Vince Vaughns of Remax. Party crash. Yeah. If there are events that are going on that are bringing together top producers, try to be a part of it. Get out there and mix and mingle with those people. We crashed in Nashville, the Torchbearers events, and even though we couldn't attend, the stuff that Remax provided to those professionals, we were there at the dinners afterward, the networking mixers after. So get involved with other professionals, and as well as put yourself out online.
Thank you. That's fantastic. So look for Jessica at your next event.
Even if I'm not invited.
Even if she's not invited. That's right. I love
Does
it.
that apply to YPN?
They're all going to be doing it now, but Pam, you could do that. Yeah, come and crash our parties.
Yes.
Thanks, Jessica.
Pam, we need to start a Gen X group or something. So
there we go.
All right, Brad, what advice would you give to a brand new agent about referrals?
Keep track of the people that you've done business with, chatted with. I think we get really excited in the beginning and we forget, I did it. And I never kept track of, people I spoke to, stuff they said they were looking for, even in passing. Even they knew I was a real estate agent. They spoke to them kind of briefly, but I didn't track anything. I had no way to record it. And I said, I have a house in such and such an area. who was it that said that they were, you know what I mean? So just take general notes and kind of track the people that you're in contact with. Also, you know, make sure you're recording all your clients and all their information. And so when you send those mail outs or you want to reach out to them, make sure you have all their contact info. I think in the beginning you get so excited and you forget about those things. You're just busy trying to sell a house. And if I had my time back, I remember when I first started doing mail outs, there was a lot of names I didn't have or the correct contact info because I was so, you know, excited in the business in the beginning. So definitely do that. And the second is don't forget to put yourself out there. You know, you wouldn't believe how many houses I've sold to people at the gym. You just talk to people everywhere. It doesn't have to be where you would think. Let them know and take time to stop and answer the question. It can make a huge difference.
Thank you so much. So, I heard a running theme today is just go out and live your life, do the things you like to do. And those real estate conversations will always come up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, Robin, what advice would you give to someone just walking into the business?
Well, and I get to do that every day as a team leader, and I have new agents. So I tell people, I think it's important to learn your market. I mean, actually become a wealth of knowledge so that when people have questions, you know the answers. When people say to you, how many houses are currently on the market? They expect you to know. You're a real estate professional. So know that stuff. And if you've got time to just study your market and learn those things, and I think because you work at Remax, there are all of these experienced agents on this panel and everywhere around you in your own brokerages. And I can only speak for myself, but I know I'm always willing to lend a hand, give advice, answer questions to any new agent or experienced agent for that matter. If we have things we can bounce off each other, I think that's the best part of Remax, to be honest.
Thank you. Great advice. My advice to new agents is you know more people than you think you do. So when you start writing down and taking an inventory of everybody in your main contacts, your phone, your email contacts, you will be amazed, and your social media followers and influencers, your network is bigger than you think. So that's a great place to start. There is a question about wearing Remax swag, name badges, pins, hats. Like, can the panel, you can just randomly answer at your convenience. What do you do with swag? When do you wear it? And talk about some success stories with that. Who wants to start?
I'll start. Remax name badge every day, wear it every day. And I've gotten out of a habit because of COVID, but I'm back into it, and it makes a difference.
Okay, sounds good. Jessica, anything? Hats?
Yeah, luckily, the Young Professional Network hooked us up with some swag. So we have shirts and hats, and I try to wear those as often as possible, especially when I don't feel like dressing up, but it's still branded stuff, so it looks professional. But yes, and I have a really cool blinged out Remax pin. I'm sure a number of the ladies have it, but that one always gets a lot of attention too.
Definitely. Okay.
Listen, all through COVID, I wore a Remax mask everywhere I went. I never wore a mask that didn't either say Gwaltney Group or Remax Results or just Remax.
There you go. And I bet it was noticed for sure.
Yeah, I did as well. We had those, I bought them through Remax, the ones that were designed. I'm sure you guys have seen them with different kids did the cartoons. I had those and I wore those out as well. Also, when I attend events, golf tournaments, all these things, wear a Remax hat or Remax shirt, especially if I'm sponsoring a hole or sponsoring something, I usually like to try to throw something on when I'm at these events, of course.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds all great. Great success stories. People will approach you if you have that. I have a laptop skin on the back of my MacBook. It's just a big Remax balloon. And if I'm ever in a public place working, I have had people come up to me all the time and ask real estate questions. I had the TSA guys, you have to take your laptop out of the bag and put it in the bin. TSA guys always start up a real estate conversation. Like Brad said early on, everybody knows what Remax is. So that's a great question. That was from Greg in Milwaukee. Thank you, Greg. Let's see if there's anything else, and then we can wrap up. Looks like Stacy, our friend in Pennsylvania, they have a cricket to make shirts on the fly. There you go. I've heard about that. Let's see. Where do all of you get your Remax swag? It sounds like different places. Go to Marketplace on Max Center. That's where all the approved suppliers are. So check that out. Let's see, is there anything else, Kevin, that we missed?
I see a question in the Q&A box there, Michelle.
Okay.
I can read it out right here really quickly. As a new agent who is in his early 20s with a network of mainly early 20-year-olds who do not necessarily have the means of purchasing a home or referring you to someone who can, how can I grow my network during this time, especially since COVID has limited networking opportunities? And if anyone from the panel can address that.
If you are in your young 20s, apparently TikTok is the place to be. Provide information, show these young people how not buying a coffee every single day will give them a down payment, that kind of thing. Show them how to leverage the money that they do have, that kind of thing. Be a source of information to them. It will pick up. And even if it's not those direct people who are seeing it, especially with TikTok and Instagram and stuff, other people will see that information, find it valuable, and want to work with you because you're a resource, not because you're pitching yourself to them.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you, Jess, for answering that. And Harmon, I hope that answered your question and gave you some ideas. I know TikTok is something, Jess is saying is very, very popular right now. There's a lot that goes into it, even though these are 5-second videos. Those 5-second videos are becoming very, very popular, and a lot of people are going to social media, Instagram, like Jess said as well. And that's where, you can build your reputation. You can expand your sphere of influence, all that sort of stuff. So utilize that social media. But Jess, thanks again for answering that question. And Michelle, I think that's all the questions that I see on my end here.
I do too. And by the way, those 20-somethings have parents that have money. So that's just what I'm saying. Right? I mean, Pam, you were thinking it. I saw your wheels turning.
Yeah, I was.
Yes, no, that and educate them about gift money and different types of financing. But yeah, no, really good answer, Jessica. You're right. I need to get on TikTok. So we'll have you do a whole business builder session on TikTok.
Not me. I'm not that great at it. I know some people that are.
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up, everyone. Thanks for staying with us a little bit over. Let's any last words of advice about getting started with referrals, what you've learned, or if you could just sum it up in a few words. Let's go ahead and round this out. Brad, we'll start with you. Final words of advice.
Yeah, I think you just need to get out there. And my thought is you don't need to reinvent the wheel. This has been done. A lot of agents have done things. So just piggyback on their ideas. Maybe you can take an idea that someone's already had and kind of twist it or, make it work, tweak it for yourself. There's, like I said, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. We're out here doing stuff, and reach out to myself or any of us if you've got any questions or, we're more than happy to help. We were in your shoes once.
Correct.
Yes, thank you. Robin, what are your last words of advice?
I just feel exactly the same. We are here for you. And I think that people, as you said, we all know a lot of people. Sometimes agents will say, I don't know that many people, but you do. If you're young, the friends of your parents, your aunts, your uncles, the people that you've worked with in other jobs. We all know a lot of people, and you have to go out and ask for the business. Yep,
love it. Jessica.
Be yourself, be authentic. People will be drawn to you. The right people will be drawn to you. Like I said, I'm a little bit edgy, and I hid a little bit of that for a little while. But in coming out of my shell, I've really been able to connect with clients who we get along like we're best friends. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. Pam.
I think just do it, really just do it. And I look forward to meeting lots of new people at R4 for 2022.
From the race capital of the world, right?
From the race capital of the world, absolutely.
So there was someone on from Daytona Beach that said hi from her speedway. So that's good. All right. I'm so excited about this session. Thank you so much. I learn a lot every time as well, just like all of you do too. I know you learn from each other. Thank you to Jessica, Pam, Brad, and Robin for sharing so much with us. We will be back on June the 15th for the final wrap up of the Business Builder series until the fall. And we're going to have a very special guest, an industry coach will be joining us. More details to come. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.